speaker box loud, hitting that stuff till you hearing that sound.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So, I find myself perusing the internet this week, and I see all kinds of videos and things about Sig P320. This gun right here. That's just going pew 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 by itself, apparently. Like killing people and stuff. Like, what? Wait a second. I'm in Massachusetts. I'm not allowed to have a Glock. Because Massachusetts has to safety test every weapon that's going to touch my hands. Because they're out for my best interest. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they want to keep me alive. Has nothing to do with money at all. So Sig paid the money. Sig paid the money to the state, and now I can have a Sig. Do I want a Glock? Absolutely. I would love a Glock, but the only way I can get my hands on a Glock is if I buy it from a cop. Yeah, easier said than done. So, just understand where I'm coming from before you start judging me in the comments. I'm not sticking up for Sig. Like, I would love a Glock. I like my Sigs as well. I don't think these are bad whatsoever. But all of a sudden, there's a bunch of videos out about this guy, the P320, the one designed for the military, right? This was designed for the military. Tolerances in this gun are sloppy. And then they took that idea, slapped some badass hardware on it, and created the P320 X5 Legion. Obviously, this was my first gun. And then they came out with this, and I was like, shit! So I had to buy it. The slide cuts, the thicker barrel, the nice grip, put a forward set trigger bar on them. Nice flat trigger there. This gun shoots amazing. I love shooting this gun. But obviously this was designed off of military version. Sloppy tolerances, right? Things are not tight for a reason, so that dirt, grime, and poop and shit and piss and whatever can get in there. And when they're fighting out in the field, things are not jamming and they can keep fighting. Right now, I see people like, I'm never buying a Sig again. That's it. It's not all Sigs. It's P320. This is a P365, obviously not designed for the military. And the tolerances on this gun are extremely tight. Extremely tight. Obviously, I don't have any ammo on me. These are all toy guns. They don't really actually... These are fake. These are squirt guns. They don't actually take bullets. But yeah, there's been some people online that have figured out that if you take if you put your finger on the trigger and pull it back, like literally to its break point, and then touch the slide. Oh, you see what just happened? The gun just went off. I did not fully pull that trigger all the way. I pulled it right to the breaking point, and poof, it went off. So, I mean, if you were holding a gun like this, you're in battle, you're in war, whatever, you're not thinking about, like, trigger safety, and you're fighting. You had your finger on the trigger, you had a little pressure on it, you went to go put it down into your holster, boop, you tap something and you shot yourself. I could see how that could happen. In battle. But we're talking about civilians here. You know, I don't see a civilian doing that, but actually, maybe I do. Maybe I do. But regardless, there is a tolerance issue there. Right? I see all these people freaking out. And you can see this gun right here. I tried to do the same exact thing. Pull the trigger back to the breaking point. And mess with the slide. Nothing. You know, you will never get it to happen with 365. The tolerances are super tight in this. But that is a carry pistol designed for, you know, everyday public. So I'm like, okay, we've got a problem here. I've got two guns that it definitely does not look good for Sig, right? It does not. And I would hope that they kind of figure something out and send out a new part or some kind of fix and send it out to everybody. But am I super concerned about getting that part from Sig? No. You know what I mean? Because, you know, this was designed for the military, right? And then it's going to become the argument, well, this is why we should not have military arms going into the hands of everyday citizens. You know what I mean? That's what's going to come down the pipeline next. And you should honestly ask yourself, you know, is it the rules, regulations, and all the crappy freaking rules that they put onto these gun companies that are a for-profit business at the end of the day? Like every business in the whole world, you know, they have to make money to survive. You think these rules and regulations are making it easier for the gun companies to keep things safe? I don't. I mean, it's clear as day. You know, if Glock is the safest gun out there, it's the holy grail of safeness, why can't I have it in Massachusetts? Why? Money. So I said, okay, let me pull this gun apart. I've watched several videos, and there's one guy that got kind of close, but I think I got closer, if not fixed the problem. So he tried 3 different grip modules. The original, Wilson Combat, which I have right here, and some other one. The original, Sig Grip, was the worst. Wilson Combat was right there with it. Then he had some other grip, and it was a lot harder for him to recreate the problem. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it has something to do with these little plastic ridges here. Maybe the plastic ridges here were a little bit higher in the front. Because if you look, take one of these Sig guns, right? Check the slop in the back. It's not bad. But then you see the gap in the front. And there's quite a bit of play there. For obvious reasons. Dirt, crime, whatever. And I know that someone's going to say, well, the Sig P320 is supposed to be more like it's supposed to be like one of those competition shooting guns. Yeah, that's what they were going for, but they based it off of a military design. And obviously they didn't change the inner workings, which maybe was a mistake on their part. But there's a loose tolerance there. And I think this loose tolerance is what's causing the problem in the first place, right? Bumping back here doesn't do anything. It's bumping up here. And this is the thing that's sticking out, that you're waving around. Bump, bump, boom, my balls, shit! So I'm like, okay, what could be some potential fixes for this problem? I am not like a gun expert. I'm not a gunsmith. You know, I own a couple of guns. I everyday carry. I go to the range way less than I should. I'm just an average, everyday American here. I'm not an engineer. I do construction for a living. So I like to tinker, and I know usually what makes things tick. So I said, okay, we've got a problem with the sear slipping off of the firing pin here, because we got a little bit of sloppy tolerance in the front. So what could we do to fix that problem? What could Sig do to fix that problem? Make new grips with higher little plastic things there? That would be astronomically expensive. Could they maybe make a new FCU and these little tabs that hold the top rail on, that the top rail slides on? There's 4 tabs. Maybe take the 2 in the front and just bend them down just a little bit, which would require them to make all new FCUs with new serial numbers, and that would be a huge hassle. Or maybe they could make a new sear with a little bit bigger of a lip, so it holds onto that firing pin a little bit better. Honestly, I think that's their best play, because it's a tiny part. They could probably pump them out. Just one little adjustment. It's not off by much. It's just a fraction off, and that's you having your trigger, your finger on the trigger to the breaking point, aiming it at yourself. It's the only way you're gonna get hurt. So, with my engineering degree in firearms and gunsmithing, we took a vise and just squeezed these little ears, tabs, I don't know what the heck. We squeezed them down so it would pull the slide down closer to the thing here, the grip. Yeah. And then, I kept doing it slowly. I would squeeze, put everything back in. No, that's not right. Squeeze again. And you're like afraid to go too much, right? But I had to give it some. And then once I gave it, then it was like, shoot. I overdid it. So then I took my gunsmithing pliers. And I came in, grabbed the 2 tabs, because I noticed when I was squeezing this way, it wanted to splay out this way. I was like, maybe we splayed out too far this way. I was just trying to bend tabs down. We splayed out too much this way. And it's digging into these little channels here. So maybe all I need to do now is just give it a little... Let's see if that worked. Yeah, should be fine. Oh. Because I got it on here a few times, and I went to do this, and as soon as I pulled that, it would go and stop right there. So I had to pull it off, give it a little more squeeze, try it again, and you just keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. And now, check this out. And this is only the front. I didn't do the back. But it seemed like the front, that's where most of the slop was, and that's what was giving this whole problem a problem. Because more than likely, if you're holding a gun, you're swinging it around, you're trying to do something, it's going to be the nose of it that gets clipped on something. If your finger's on the trigger, it causes it to fire. I don't think it's going to be back here. But if we need to, we could just repeat the process we did in the front and the back, right? So now, okay. Can you see and hear a difference already? So from here, my only concern is like wear and tear, right? As the slide back and forward, like are we pulling on something we should not pull on that's going to wear the inside of the slide and cause a problem? So, and do we need to tighten the back as well? So if you actually grab the slide and the grip and pull and push, there is still slop there, but it is way, way less than before. Then if you go to the back and do the same thing, it's actually on point with the front now. It's like exactly the same. So now it seems pretty even throughout. Dry, it seems like it works. So I'm gonna put a little bit of oil in here, and I think we should go to the range and give it the mustard and see if it fixed the problem. So from here, honestly, like I've tried to do the same thing, pull the trigger right to the brake point, screw with the slide, and it's like, I mean, it's gonna break. It's gonna break. Right, with this one, bring it right to the brake point, touch the slide, it's noticeable. Yeah, see, that was extremely noticeable. I mean, you can feel it. With this, now that we've tightened the front up, now, see? The trigger breaks before I can, take a magazine, which only holds 10 rounds in my state. Click that in. And the slop is even less. Oh, that really feels nice. But now we actually have to go pull it and send them. See what happens. So I should be shooting more than I do. I just got into this range. It took a year. I was on a waiting list for a year, and I had to know somebody to get in, but it's right down the street from my house, and it's pretty big. This is the indoor range, and there's also an outdoor range, which I'd love to go shoot my rifles at some point. Haven't been to the outdoor range yet. Place is pretty nice. All right, so we got 7 mags, 70 rounds. We're just gonna send them all and see if there's any difference. Alright, so I ended up putting 140 rounds. I loaded all the magazines again. The first 70 rounds you didn't see on camera because I just wanted to send them. Send them. And no one was in the building with me, so you can get away with a little bit more when no one else is there, So, I mean, I was just going bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean? One after the next after the next. I wanted to just give it to her, But when other people are in the building, you can't be doing that. So obviously you could see there was another target moving. Someone else came. So the last 70 rounds, I just acted like a normal human being. Aim, point, shoot. And this is still hot. Like the range is that close to my house that this gun is still warm. So we should open it up and just make sure, first off, it still feels solid. And if, like I say, you put a magazine in, it's tight. It's super tight. And I kind of told the guy, the dude that rolled in, he heard me shooting fast, and when he came in, he was asking me what I was doing, and I said, have you seen all the P320 videos online lately about the guns going off by themselves? And he's like, yes, I have. And I was like, well, I think I've fixed it. And I'm just testing. That's all. I'm putting her through her paces. And he was like, oh, okay, all right. So he understood, you know, because when he was walking up, he could hear me going, "Ka-da-da-da-da-da." They don't like when you're doing that at the range. So let's just take a peek inside. Yeah, dude, that's clean. There's nothing. Nothing out of the ordinary. Just like it should look. I don't see like abnormal scarring or like metal shavings or wear spots. It looks absolutely fine. Well, Sig, if you're watching, I am unemployed right now. Just saying. But on a serious note, guys, you know, this gun now feels nice. It feels better. I didn't have any like stovepipes. I didn't have any like jams. I had zero issues. I feel like I was more accurate. I don't know, I just had an easier time. Now, I'm not the best with iron sights. I'll admit it. You know, I'm still, I gotta, like I say, I gotta get to the range more. Red dot definitely makes me a little more confident. But again, I'm not gonna go run off and do this to my Legion quite yet. Like I say, I only put 140 rounds through it, and I stopped there, so we can come back and check and see. I don't want to damage it. Do we see anything abnormal? No, I don't. At all. And plus, I'm like, dude, this, how come, like, out of all the, nobody kind of figured I'm the only one? So I just wanted to get the video out there, and maybe, maybe other people can put their eyes on it and bend them and, you know, do some testing and figure out if this is an appropriate fix. It seems like it is. It seems like it's working. Like I say, it actually feels better. But I'm not going to clean the gun. I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to go back to the range like 4 or 5 more times when I know no one's going to be there, and I'm going to give it to her hard. I'm going to give it to her, right? And I want it to get gummed up. I want it to get really dirty, and I want to see if we start having failures, malfunctions, that kind of stuff. So this is an early, you know, I just wanted to put it out there. Maybe other people can try the same thing and run their own tests and see. You know, we might not even need to wait for Sig, because I think I just fixed it. But maybe not. You never know. Sometimes things need to be run and run. But so far, I mean, this thing feels amazing. I'm not going to lie. It feels a lot better than it did when I got it from Sig. Just from, you know. So yeah, anyways, guys, that's my take on the whole P320 going boom by itself, and a possible solution, possible fix for you. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, like the video, or not. See you later.